it's an honor to turn the program over to the Southeastern Hay Contest, the chairperson, Dr. Leanne Dillard from Auburn University. Leanne, also, if you win one of the top 3 prizes in 9 categories today, don't go very far from the corner of this stage, because as soon as the ceremony's over, we're going to take lots of pictures, and these ladies won't want to have to chase after you. Leanne?
Thank you so much, Chip. And to reiterate that, we're holding your check. So you won't, if you leave, your check will still be here. So it is an honor this year to represent the Southeast Hay Contest. As Chip said, my name is Leanne Dillard, and I am the State Forage Extension Specialist representing Alabama. But I'm also a Georgia native, so it's always nice when I get the opportunity to come back to my home state and talk to a wonderful group of people. So the Southeast Hay Contest has been going on. This is our 19th year, and we hit a huge milestone this year. So if you're in the forage business, you've probably heard of the World Dairy Expo and the Forage Super Bowl they have. This year we surpassed them in the number of samples, having 468, making us the nation's largest hay contest, which is a pretty big accomplishment in our 19th year, and I know we will continually go strong in the coming years as well. And of course, we could only do that with our extension agents and our farmers. So this year, as with most years, I feel like we're a broken record, had many challenges for our producers. Forages are one of those, we always say farmers are the unsung heroes. Forages, I always say, are even more so, because we are the only commodity that produces a product to support another commodity. So forages are often ignored. It's just the grass that's out there. But making high quality forage is important to ensure a high quality dairy meat product that or cheese product that we have on our table. So they are definitely an important part of our industry, which is why this contest is really important. This contest is also very unique because we make sure all of the board are involved in extension, and this is important because we bring our extension agents involved. So when we submit samples, the extension agents go collect the samples, work with the farmers to help solidify that. And we've been working to make this an education process. We've started doing workshops. We had one in Florida a couple of years ago to help producers make higher quality hay. Though from the results of this contest, these are the producers that should be, in fact, teaching those, because we have record-breaking samples. So one thing just before we get into the results, I would like to thank Dr. Dr. Saha Uttam, from the WGEA Forage Testing Lab. They analyzed all the samples, 468, so it's an impressive amount. They're able to get those done in a short amount of time each year. Obviously, Mr. Chip Laylock and the Sunbelt Expo for allowing us to have this opportunity. It's always nice to have this great expo in order to present our prizes. Also, our title sponsor, Massey Ferguson, they'll come up in just a second, but they are always supporting. They provide our grand prize, which is an excellent piece of equipment as well as a monetary prize. The extension specialists and agents from all the Southeast, so this covers 13 states, and we're well represented in our winners this year, and then obviously the farmers and producers, many of which are here today that have traveled from quite a bit away to come get their prize, and so we appreciate your continued support. Without y'all, we wouldn't have a contest. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt LaCroix from from Massey Ferguson to say a few words about Massey and our grand prize.
Thank you, Leanne. First of all, I want to thank Chip and everybody here at the Sunbelt Ag Expo for hosting this event and hosting us here and putting on such a great show every year. I want to thank the forage specialists that make up the Southeastern Hay Contest Board, all the extension agents that run around gathering samples. Sometimes maybe if the farmer doesn't want to do it, they tell them why they need to do it and why it's important. So at Massey Ferguson, we have two words: farmer first. So everything that we do, we try to be farmer first in everything. Now, some people don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want to be a farmer. Some do, but you have to have a passion, right? It has to be in your soul. And my wife's going to kill me for telling you this story. But I grew up, my mom's a Southern cook making biscuits. And my wife said, I want to learn how to make biscuits like your mom. And I was like, I don't know if you can do that. It's got to be in your soul. You got to be born knowing how to make biscuits. Now, my wife's from England, so I said, we have scones. They're just as good, right? So my mom tried to teach her how to make biscuits. Didn't work out too well because that passion wasn't in her soul. So everything we do at Massey Ferguson, from our hay equipment to our tractors, we think about farmers first. We don't try to put a whole bunch of crazy technology that you have to have a lot of operator input. If you know how to drive a tractor, you can hop in one. If you know how to bale hay, you can hop in one and make a good bale of hay. So it's one thing we do all the time to make sure that's right. So without further ado, I want to thank everybody for coming. And the winner this year obviously gets a nice check here, but they also get their choice of a Massey Ferguson disc mower or rotary rake, because we're all about making high quality hay. And we, over at our booth today, we're going to have a hay throwing contest at 1:30. So if you have an opportunity to come by and see how far you can throw a bale of hay, you might win some good prizes over there. But we got a couple of new balers we launched, a new small square baler, a new round baler. And why don't you come by and look at those and call your local Massey Ferguson dealer for a demo, okay? So I'll turn it back over to Leanne.
You will not catch me at the Massey booth throwing hay because it's a great way for me to embarrass myself. So because our agents are such an important part of this contest, a couple of states have gone the extra mile to be able to present their agents that have their largest number of samples submitted. They give them an award, and those two states are Florida and Georgia. So if Lisa and Marcelo will come here. So we're going to start with Florida. So this is actually, they've been, Dr. Lisa Baxter and Dr. Marcelo Villau actually went out and got sponsorships because the agents are such an important thing. So the Florida agent is sponsored by Mayo Ag Services, and we have Tyler Putnell from Mayo Ag Services here to represent them. And the winner of the Florida Agent Award, it's probably no surprise because I think he's gotten it every year, is Mr. Mark Mull. Congratulations, Mark. So the Georgia Agent Award is Miss Haley Partain, and this was sponsored by Georgia Agribusiness Council. And Will Bentley and Jake Tinch are here representing them. Waiting for, which is the producer. So for the producers, I will ask again that we're not going to take pictures right now because it's just going to be a little hectic. So what we'll do is we'll give you your award, but remember you won't have your check, so you have to stick around afterwards for pictures. So we're going to start with warm season perennial grass hay. This is always by far the largest category. This year it had 159 entries. And in third place is Wally Missap from Gentry, Arkansas, with an RFQ of 146. Unfortunately, Mr. Millsap had a family medical emergency at the end of last week and wasn't able to join us. They had worked really hard with Arkansas Extension to be able to cover their travel here, but I will gladly accept an award on his behalf. And I'm sorry, I failed to mention our sponsor for this category is R.W. Griffin, the name of the building, and Griffin Evans is here. If Griffin would come, if he's here, come forward. So, we'll take pictures in a minute. So, second place in this category is with an RFQ of 152 is Eddie Turner Farm from Tennelle, Georgia. And in first place with an RFQ of 156 from Dudley, Georgia is Jeff Bacon. So our second category is going to be alfalfa hay. This category is sponsored by InView, and we're excited because InView was able to bring a lot of their team by. And so here from InView we have Bradley Shoemaker, Brian Kane, JD Schaefer, Justin Hosfeld, Dory Berry, Jason Belcher, Jake Conroy, and Jerry McGinn. If y'all could all come forward from InView. So alfalfa hay is always a category that always impresses me. So if you're familiar with RFQ, the index is supposed to max out at 300, but we routinely have samples in alfalfa hay that go above and beyond that. It's amazing what our producers can do. So in third place with an RFQ of 249 is Bill Conrad from Malone, Florida. In second place, with an RFQ of 298 from Taylorsville, North Carolina, is Mountainside Farm. And in first place, with an index-breaking 327 from Climax, North Carolina, our repeated winners, our overall winner last year, Beeson Farms. So our next category is other legume hay. So this would be clover, also includes perennial peanut. And it is sponsored by AgriKing, and I believe we have Mr. Steve Esch here representing AgriKing. This had 25 entries, and in third place we have, with an RFQ of 228 from Malone, Florida, Mr. Bill Conrad. In second place, from Pensacola, Florida, with an RFQ of 232 is Dalton Dennis. And in first place, with an RFQ of 247 from McAlpin, Florida, Darling Farms. So our next category is cool season perennial grass hay. So this would be tall fescue, orchard grass, things that you can't grow in South Georgia. But it is sponsored by Corteva. And I don't believe we have anyone here from Corteva, so I've asked Massey if they would be willing to come up and accept or represent Corteva. So in third place with an RFQ of 143, from Franklin, North Carolina, we have Windmill Farm. With an RFQ of 159, from Taylorsville, North Carolina, we have Mountainside Farm. And you may be hearing some of the same names names over again. So we do have a rule that you can't place in the same category, but you can submit samples in other categories. So it's amazing to me, we have producers that can make quality hay across many different categories. And if you've ever made hay, you know it's a struggle making hay. Legume hay versus grass hay is a lot different. And in first place, with an RFQ of 160 from Climax, North Carolina, is Beeson Farms. Our next category is legume and grass mixed hay. We had 14 entries in this category. It usually is a very small, there's a minimum amount of legume that has to be in this to consider that. And in third place, this is sponsored by Athens Seed Company. And since Athens Seed is not here, I'll ask Matt to come up again. In third place with an RFQ of 162 from Martin, Tennessee is Chester Farms, and I believe Chris Fleming is here to accept that award for them. In second place with an RFQ of 192 from Coates, North Carolina, John Pope. And in first place with an RFQ of 278 from McAlpin, Florida, John Carter. So the next category is cool season annual. Oh, he's coming, sorry. I missed you, I apologize. Exactly, the camo, he blended in. So our next category is cool season annual grass hay, like ryegrass. We had 51 entries. And it is sponsored by Southeast Agri-Seeds. Accepting this on sponsorship for Southeast Agri-Seeds, because unfortunately they were able to make it, is Mr. Sam Gross. He's actually from Barronbrook, so he'll be up here next as well. But Southeast Agri-Seed is a distributor for Barronbrook, and they're located up in North Georgia, near where I'm from, in Rome, Georgia. So with an RFQ in third place of 144 from Culloden, Georgia, KP Farm. With an RFQ of 150 and I was told since I was from Georgia originally I should be able to pronounce all these names. That is not the case, so I apologize. For anyone from Hepsia, Georgia, Barnhart's Farm. And in first place with an RFQ of 162 from Nicholson, Georgia, Pittman Farms. For warm season annual grass hay with an RFQ of 122. Sorry, I keep getting ahead of myself. Barronbrook is the sponsor for warm season annual grass hay. Representing them is Mr. Sam Gross. And with the third place with an RFQ of 122 from Nicholson, Georgia, Pittman Farms. With just a slightly higher of 123 in second place from Alena, Georgia, Blackberry Farms. Sorry, I apologize for mispronouncing that. And in first place with an RFQ of 128 from Monticello, Georgia, Michael Angus Farms. I apologize. This is good to know. So, we do have, even though this is a hay contest, we do have 2 categories which are baleage, since it's a growing commodity in the forage industry in the Southeast. So we have grass and legume baleage. With grass baleage first, with a RFQ of 193 from Concord, Georgia, Caldwell Farm and Land. In second place, with an RFQ of 211 from Barnesville, Georgia, Walters Farms. And in first place, with an RFQ of 213 from Molina, Georgia, Light Free Farms. And luckily, you just told me how to pronounce it. So our last category, legume baleage, with an RFQ of 130 in third place. This is sponsored by Coastal Seeds. They were not able to join us today, so I'll ask Matt to come back up. So in third place with an RFQ of 130 is Yawn Family Farms from Ridge Springs, South Carolina. Second place with an RFQ of 187 is from Chipley, Florida, GNS Farms. With an RFQ of 189, Walters Farm from Barnesville, Georgia. So if you were paying attention, you might be able to figure out who the winner was. So this year we had a unique situation, first time ever. I'm so lucky as chair to get to be the person that got to handle this. So we do have a rule in the contest that you can only win the grand prize once every, I believe it is 3 to 5 years, I can't quite remember. So there's one producer here that has routinely done such a good job that they had the highest RFQ, which unfortunately they won last year because they're so good. So if you need to buy hay, buy it from Beeson Farms. So the actual top RFQ actually came from Beeson Farms and the alfalfa hay with an RFQ of, it was 327. But because they were the winner last year, we will give that first place, that grand prize award, which is sponsored by Massey Ferguson, to Mountain Sign Farm from Taylorsville, North Carolina. Which is still an impressive RFQ. So, thank y'all very much. We appreciate y'all attending our word ceremony. Now we're going to take some pictures with all the winners, but for the rest of you, thank you for coming and have a wonderful expo.